just to answer a few questions I get asked quite a lot on social media. The size of meat I use is, I've got a Tilly meat cutter, Tilley. It's a Tilly meat cutter, and I use a 13mm version. So obviously it gives me 13mm cubes of meat. You can pick them up on eBay, or I think you type in Tilly into Google, you'll pick them up. But I use the 13mm version. It gives me roughly 13mm cubes, so ½ inch in old money. Yeah, it's the biggest one they do, I think. Another question I get asked a lot about is this bait weighter that you can see here. Now it's a multi-weighter. I bought it years ago. I'm talking probably 10 years ago plus. I think it's by Preston Innovations, though it doesn't say on it, but it's called multi-weighter. It's got 2 holes for bait tubs. Obviously they need to be the right size. And then a big section here where you just chuck stuff in or put other bait boxes in. I discovered very early on, even with a screw bank stick, it's really hard to get into the bed of the Y. You know, it's a rocky, gravelly bottom on the Y. So I decided a tripod was the way to go. Now, I couldn't find a tripod with a bank stick fitting. Although I do know of people who actually use pole rollers that have got a bank stick fitting in the top. Pole roller tripods, I should say, with a bank stick fitting in the top. So I think you can get them, they are about. But what I did, because I couldn't find one, was I just made a little adapter. Because obviously the tripod's got a camera thread in the top of it. And this has got a bank stick thread underneath it. So I bought a camera thread bolt and a bank stick nut off eBay for about 20p each. And welded them together at home. Because fortunately I have a stick welder at home. And I can weld. Kind of. No, I used to weld, so I can weld. Just welded them together, made myself a little adapter. So it's easily done if you've got the facility to weld. You probably even epoxy them together, to be honest. Just make yourself a little adapter, and it's just a very cheap camera tripod. Which was floating away earlier, but with all the weight of that bait on it, it's staying there now. But it just makes life a lot easier than trying to get bank sticks in. You have to get them in a reasonable way as well, with that amount of bait on top. Otherwise the current just pushes them over. And just while we're talking information as well, for those of you who don't do a lot of wading, I would highly, highly recommend, no matter how warm you think it is, or you think the water is, put some thermals on underneath your trousers, get some long johns, some thermal long johns, because they are invaluable. I've got thermal long johns on today. It's going to be, low 20 degrees today, air temperature. This water's about 16, you think that's not too cold at all. And it feels relatively warm to the touch, but I tell you what, stood in it, don't half rip the warmth out of you. So it's worth wrapping up under your waders. I mean, I've only got this t-shirt on top here and I'm not very warm at all. I would go and put a hoodie or my long sleeve shirt on, but I keep dipping my elbows in the water. I don't want to get them wet. But I might have to in a minute and roll my sleeves up, because as soon as this wind's picked up a bit, it's gone a bit chilly. Fish. I thought it was. Seemed like a bit of a thump, thump, thump. And that is right in those rocks where the barbel tend to hang out. And it's just heading off upstream. It doesn't feel very big though. It's doing very barbely things. I think we might be attached to the first barbel of the day. By the way I'm having to back wind at the moment. Got him. Got him. How's about that? First one of the day. Cracking. What a great scrap as well. Wonderful stuff. Right, we'll rest him up again. Get him out in the float, rest him up, and get him back. There we go.